Aliens exist, and it's possible they are here right now, says another astronaut. Let's remember a few days ago, NASA informed us that they asked various Christian pastors to prepare some kind of an essay or a brief as to how Christians would be able to accept space aliens as existing. Now, Sherman told Observer magazine that aliens exist, there's no two ways about it, and that there are so many billions of stars out there in the universe that there must be all sorts of forms of life. Now, we know that, we have our physical world here, but let's remember that we have other worlds as well along with us in other dimensions. For example, if we were to see one of God's angels, they are from another dimension. Let's remember we have various examples even in the Old Testament of angels appearing to people in the form of humans. The book of Tobit shows us that the archangel Raphael was helping that family, and at the end of his mission, he disclosed to them that he was an archangel of God named Raphael, and then he turned into uncreated light and disappeared. And Christ himself tells us, try and be hospitable to people because you never know that they could be angels. So they are from another dimension. They can appear to us as humans. But the opposite could be true as well, because of what some monks have told me, Christian Orthodox monks from the monasteries of Mount Athos in northern Greece. They have prayers all night. Monks and nuns don't sleep. They pray all night. While the world sleeps, they're awake praying all night. And the male monasteries, because the men are priests, also have daily holy liturgies in the morning after their all-night prayer. So there are instances where they hear knocking on their doors. These monastic communities there are no women allowed in Mount Athos at all. But yet there are women knocking on the doors saying, please help me, I need your help. I'm in danger, please help me. And pleading with them, pining for their help, because they want to tempt them, and they also want them to stop praying. Okay, this is the opposite of they're demonic entities, obviously. So and they can appear as a human to them. Now, going back to this, could she have been referring to beings that exist within other dimensions? Possibly. And the writer here says, Arjun Walia, says, based on my research when it comes to the topic of UFOs and the extraterrestrial hypothesis as an explanation for some of these objects, many have hypothesized that some of these craft simply pop in and out of our existence, perhaps from another dimension. Let's remember the Emerald Tablets, written by Thoth the Atlantean, and I have a playlist, you'll find that in my playlist. Amazing what he says about their technology. Not only did they have flight and space flight, interstellar flight, they also had interdimensional switching back and forth from one dimension to the other. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box. And he claimed that they had tremendous technology and that they were misusing their technology to the detriment of humanity, and that he believes that it was only a matter of time before the divine intervention put an end to them, and it did. But he says that a lot of Atlanteans went to other locations of the earth, set up new cities with pyramids and sphinxes and everything. So they had interdimensional switching back and forth, which was not to be used, but it was. Now, going back to this, he said, based on my research when it comes to the topic of UFOs and the extraterrestrial hypothesis, an example of some of these objects, many have hypothesized that some of these craft simply pop in and out of our existence, perhaps from another dimension. And we've seen this in the recent UFO sightings. Now, Sherman told the Observer magazine that aliens exist. He says there's no two ways about it, and that there are so many billions of stars out there in the universe that there must be all sorts of forms of life. The chemist spent 8 days as a researcher on the space mission when she was 27 years old, making her one of the youngest people to enter orbit. This echoes the thoughts of and feelings of the majority, if not all of the scientific community, right now when it comes to contemplating life beyond our world. The list of astronauts around the world who shared their belief that intelligent life exists in abundance elsewhere in our known universe is quite long. Some have even stated that they've been privy to evidence suggesting that we have been visited and are being visited. Apollo 14's Dr. Edgar Mitchell is an example. He spent many years creating awareness about the UFO phenomenon and made many incredible statements throughout his life. He claimed to be, quote, privileged enough to be in on the fact that we have been visited on this planet and that the UFO phenomenon is real, he said. In his words, they were verified after passing by the leak of this document. The focal point of the document is about a meeting and what happened after that meeting that took place in 1997 between UFO researcher Dr. Stephen Greer, Admiral Wilson, Dr. Edward Mitchell, Apollo 14 astronaut, and other high-ranking individuals within the military. This meeting was spoken about by Dr. Greer and Dr. Mitchell nearly 4 years prior to the leak of the documents on multiple occasions. And you can read more about the document here in the link. Dr. Brian O'Leary, a former astronaut and Princeton physics professor, stated that, quote, there is abundant evidence that we are being contacted, end quote. Astronaut Story Musgrave has done the same, stating that intelligent life most certainly exists and that, quote, they're doing star travel, that's how good they are, end quote. Gordon Cooper and again several others have done the same. Apollo 12 astronaut Al Worden has also made some interesting comments about aliens. We know Buzz Aldrin talked about the pillar, the monolith on the Phobos monolith on the moon's, Mars moon, Phobos. And there's another monolith on Mars. And they say, who built these monoliths? Why are they there? Now, all of these statements are quite outdated, and since they've been made, it's been proven without a doubt that the UFO phenomenon is real. The mainstream seems to be getting more acclimated to the fact. Of course, we know that the Department of Justice also is probing UFOs, sightings and encounters. Now, the mainstream seems to be getting more acclimated to the fact as objects performing maneuvers that no known aircraft can have been documented via electro-optical data like video recordings and radar tracking, as well as high-ranking testimony from hundreds of trained observers and credible witnesses. A former Pentagon official who led a secret government program to research potential UFOs revealed in 2017 told CNN at the time that he believes there is evidence of alien life reaching Earth and that the UFO phenomenon is part of that evidence. We've seen mainstream UFO disclosure ramp up quite a bit every single year as it continues to be legitimized by articles taking the subject seriously in media outlets like Washington Post, New York Times, and it's quite clear that something is going on. And this subject is huge and, like we've said many times before, leaves no aspect of humanity untouched. This was on Collective Evolution, published here on Creative Spark under Creative Commons. And let's remember also the ancient Greeks have texts written, and they believe that not only the Titans that were huge were the quote-unquote small g gods of the past that were just below the opening towards Hades, hell, in other words, but also the gods of ancient Greece, the Olympian gods, were extraterrestrial. And others say they were Atlanteans. So take your pick. Something very strange is still going on here, having to do with other dimensions. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support.